So we have an article from Variety. Apparently, James Gunn says it's nonsense to think Superman will flop if it doesn't make 700 million. It doesn't need to be as big as people are saying. I'm going to jump into this a little bit more, but we'll read the article real quick. James Gunn's Superman is set to launch an entire new DC universe, but the writer-director is not feeling the kind of pressure one might think. Gunn is also the co-head of DC Studios with Peter Safran, and recently told GQ magazine as part of a cover story for Superman star David Cornsweet that his movie is not the riskiest endeavor in the world, as some are painting it as. Now, I'm going to have to disagree with that because I think this is a risky endeavor. I think it is because you're coming into this studio with a lot of adversity from previous years. And then you're not uniting the fans, you're dividing them. Yes, this is very risky to me. I think it's risky because WB is in a lot of debt. If they wasn't in a lot of debt, I would say, yeah, maybe it's not as risky. But they need to make money. All right. Is there something riding on it? Yeah, but it's not as big as people make it out to be, Gunn said. They hear these numbers that the movie's only going to be successful if it makes 700 million or something, and it's just complete and utter nonsense. It doesn't need to be as big of a situation as people are saying. Since Superman is kickstarting a new DC universe, which includes the already filmed Supergirl movie and plans for a new takes on Batman and Wonder Woman, Hollywood will be watching closely to see how the movie performs at the box office. The film, which carries a reported budget in the 200 million range. Now, I'm going to have to call that out because Geeks and Gamers actually showed some tax documents, I believe. I can't remember what state it was from. I think it might have been Ohio. And the budget was much higher than 200 million. I think it was like 363 million. We talked about it in a video. I can't remember which one, but Geeks and Gamers came out. They showed the tax documents that WB filed, and I'm guessing, but I think it was around the $363 million range. I'd have to go verify that though. So these are all just numbers I'm guessing right now. But they did come out with a video and showed those tax documents that WB submitted to, I believe it was the state of Ohio. So the budget is not just 200 million. It's a little bit higher. Where were we at? Arriving in theaters at a time when comic book movies are no longer box office certainties. Warner Bros. Last DC universe came to a thud with the 2023 box office misfire, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash. Marvel's box office woes have continued into 2025 with Captain America Brave New World flopping and even the well-reviewed Thunderbolts losing millions of dollars at the box office. That's because people don't trust these companies no more. All of it is trash. Like, they're putting out trash movies so people don't want to take the risk. Like, you got to take in the factor with the situation of living, man. It's expensive these days for a lot of things. So people don't want to risk that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Especially the movie theaters are crazy when it comes to prices and snacks. You take a family, man, you're going to at least spend 70, 80, maybe $100. I think there is such a thing as superhero fatigue. I don't think it's superhero fatigue. I think people are just sick and tired of bullshit ass movies. They're sick of it. They're sick of the woke being injected into the movies. They're tired of all the quotas being checked off the little checklist. You know, swapping races, swapping colors. You know, even I'm sick of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop touching the characters. Let the comic book be comic book. We don't need the real world stuff added into these things, man. So I just think all that's playing a factor. I don't think it's superhero fatigue. I don't have superhero fatigue. I'm tired of bad movie fatigue. That's what I have. It has to do with the kind of stories that get told, and if you lose your eye on the ball, which is the character, he said, we love Superman, we love Batman, we love Iron Man because they are incredible characters that we have in our hearts, and if it becomes a bunch of nonsense on screen, it gets really boring. Okay, so that there's more article. I'm not even going to read the rest of it. Okay, so first of all, Superman, James Gunn says that if Superman doesn't make 700 million, it's not a big deal, pretty much. Now, I'll be the first one to say, when all these talks came out about the budget and all this, I said they don't need to worry about making money. They need to worry about word of mouth. Word of mouth will make this movie money. They need to worry about word of mouth. Because if the reviews come out, they're good reviews, and people are talking about it, they're going to make money. However, to say that 700 million isn't a big deal, it's kind of being hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? How much was the whole... I got the Man of Steel stuff pulled up. I can't prepare today. So, Man of Steel had a budget of $225,000. And it made $670 million worldwide. And people call that a flop. And that's not a flop. That's a standalone Superman movie. This Superman movie has about 19 characters in it. So if people call Man of Steel a flop and it made almost $700 million, this Superman movie's not going to be a flop if it doesn't make $700 million. See, this is where the two sides of the internet be a lot of hypocrites. If this Superman does not make $700 million, it has to be considered a flop if you consider Man of Steel a flop. That's all I'm saying. Now, the Superman budget for James Gunn's movie, it says the reported budget is $225 million, but like we said on the Geeks and Gamers channel, they went over some tax documents filed in, I believe, in Ohio. I think the budget was a little bit higher, between $363 million, but then you also have to add in marketing. You have to add in a whole lot of other stuff. And it says on here, to break even, the film is projected to need to gross around $500 million globally. For the movie to be considered a success, it is projected to need to gross around $700 million worldwide. So if this movie doesn't make $700 million, yes, it is a flop. If y'all consider Man of Steel a flop, this has to be a flop. If it doesn't make $700 million or more, me personally, this movie needs to make $1 billion. Because WB needs the money. I would say that if I was to choose between word of mouth and money, they need word of mouth. They need to buy fans back more than, I would say, the money side. They got to buy the fans back. Like, okay, this is a solid foundation. We're rocking with this. This is actually good for the future projects. But if you don't have a solid foundation, it ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing with this. They're filming all these movies, Supergirl, they got all these different things going on. And my thing is, like, can we get the foundation first? Superman is the foundation of how this universe is going to be built. If a lot of people don't like this Superman movie, what do you think is going to happen with the future projects? It's not going to be good. So, that's my thoughts on it. $700 million, I think Gunn is just... I think he's just trying to play it safe right now. If it doesn't make $700 million, it's not a big deal. Being an investor, WB and them having them investors, they want that $700 million. I can tell you that right now. They not saying it's not a big deal. It's nonsense. They not saying nothing like that. They want that money. They want that money. That's why a lot of things been coming out with them cutting 25 minutes of funny stuff out and just reshoots, I think, and then just come on, man. We know what it is. So that's my thoughts on it. If it don't make $700 million, and if y'all don't call it a flop, then don't call Man of Steel a flop. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. And you got to take into consideration too, Man of Steel came out in 2013. Advertising and stuff like that, like YouTube wasn't as... I mean, it was big, but it wasn't as big as it is now. Like, YouTube is like... Everybody watches YouTube, bro. Just entertainment in general has gotten so much bigger than the year 2013. So, and Man of Steel did great, I thought. I thought it did a great job, the marketing for 2013. So, that's my 2 cents on it. If James Gunn Superman don't make $700 million and you don't call it a flop, well, you better not be calling Man of Steel a flop. That's all I'm saying. Because Man of Steel had one character in it, Superman. Well, it had Zod too, but James Gunn Superman has like 19 characters. So, this is really not even a standalone film. So, post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think, man. What do you guys think? Do you think James Gunn is do you agree with his comment about if it doesn't make $700 million, it's nonsense? Do you consider it a flop if it doesn't make $700 million? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will catch y'all on the next one. 100,000 subscribers is around time. Let's